Hello everyone, this is Rashi Tiwari from IIPS DAVV. Today we are going to learn what are access specifier and their visibility in C++. So firstly we will go through what are access specifiers. Access specifier are used for determining or setting the boundary for the availability of class members that are data member and member function beyond that class. Private, public and protected are the keywords which are called access specifier, and they define the accessibility and visibility of the class members. By default, the class members are private. So if the visibility labels are missing, then by default all the class members are private. In inheritance, it is important to know when a member function in the base class can be used by the object of the derived class. This is called accessibility, and the access specifier are used to determine this. Access specifier can either private or protected or public. In general, access specifier are the access restrictions imposed during the derivation of different subclasses from the base class. In simple language, access specifier are keywords in object-oriented languages that set the accessibility of class, methods, and other members. Access specifier are a specific part of programming language syntax used to facilitate the encapsulation of components, and a class cannot be declared as public. So now we will see types of access specifier. So there are three types of access specifier that are public, private and protected. So firstly we will go through public access specifier. Public means all the class member declared under public will be available to everyone. The data member and member function declared public can be accessed by other classes too. All the class member declared under public will be available to everyone. The data member and member function declared public can be accessed by the other classes too. The public member is accessible from anywhere outside the class within a program. You can get and set the value of public variables without any member function. So now we will go through a program to better understand public access specifier. So here we have made a class naming circle in which radius is public data member and compute area is public member function. So here we are just calculating area of circle for accessing public data member outside the class. We use the dot operator, object.radius is equals to 5.5, and at last we are just printing the radius and the area by again using the dot operator. You can see the result or output on the top of the right corner. Output is radius is 5.5 and area is 94.985. Secondly, we will talk about the private access specifier. Private access specifier is used while creating a class. Then the public and protected data member of the base class become the private member of the derived class, and private member of the base class remains private. In this case, the member of the base class can be used only within the derived class and cannot be accessed through the object of derived class, whereas they can be accessed by creating a function in the derived class. Declaring data member with private access specifiers is known as data hiding. So the class member declared as private can be accessed only by the function inside the class. They are not allowed to be accessed directly by any object or function outside the class. Only the member function or the friend function are allowed to access the private data members of a class. A private member variable or function cannot be accessed or even viewed from outside the class. By default, all the members of a class would be private, or if not declared, the specifier, the default access specifier is private. So here's a program for private access specifier. Here we taken a class naming circle in which radius is private data member and public member function which is compute area with no return type, that is void. Since the member function can access private data member Radius, therefore, radius is equals to r and area is equals to 3.14 into radius. And in main function, we are creating object of the class to directly access private data member outside the class. Object dot compute area 1.5 and the output is on the top of the right corner. Radius is 1.5 and area is 7.065. So moving forward for the third access specifier, that is protected access specifier. The protected access modifier is similar to that of the private access specifier. The difference is that the class member declared as protected are inaccessible outside the class, but they can be accessed by any subclass of that class. A protected member variable or function is very similar to a private member, but it provides one additional benefit, that they can be accessed in child class, as which are called derived class. Now we will have a look on a program of protected access specifier. Here we made a class parent in which we declared a protected data member of integer type called id protected. There is another class or subclass named child which is inherited from the class parent. In class child, the public member function is setId. Since the child class is able to access the inherited protected data member of the base class, id protected is equals to id. Void display id is another public member function in which we are just printing the id. In the main function, we are creating an object child obj as the member function of the derived class can access the protected data member of the class. Now we are calling the function object.setId and object.displayId. So that's all for protected access specifier. Now the next topic is access control and inheritance. A derived class can access all the non-private members of its base class. The base class member that should not be accessible to the member function of a derived class should be declared private in the class. And here's the table. You can see the same class, public, protected and private can be accessed, and in the derived class public can be accessed, protected can be accessed, but private cannot be accessed. And in outside the classes, only public can be accessed, neither protected nor private members can be accessed. So that's all about the access specifier and their visibility. Thank you for watching.